Hello, welcome to my presentation. My name is Marla Seth. For my project, I was interested in looking at whether the type of fish in a picture affects the picture's overall rating. I chose this project because I love fish and fish tanks, and I like to spend time looking through the pictures on the website. The website I used is ratemyfishtank.com. People upload and submit pictures of their tanks and fish, and then other people vote on them by rating them on a scale of 1 to 10. The votes are averaged into an overall rating, and the pictures are ranked within their respective categories. There are multiple categories for pictures, such as reef tanks, planted tanks, saltwater tanks, freshwater fish, saltwater fish, corals, invertebrates, and more. I was specifically interested in just freshwater fish and saltwater fish, so these first two categories here. One of the challenges I had is that there are multiple pages of fish names. So for example, freshwater fish has over 28 pages of species names and links. And then each species can then have multiple pages of pictures. So for example, the afracichlid has 3 pages of pictures, but a different species, like a goldfish, could have over 20 pages. Altogether, I needed to scrape thousands of pages, and I wanted to be considerate to the website and use a rate limiter. As a result, it took over 6 hours to scrape all of the data. Another challenge I had was isolating the rating from each picture. Each number in orange down here actually has the same HTML tag. So I had to get a little creative in how to isolate the ratings from the other numbers, like the number of votes and the ranking and the percentage. I ended up needing to count and label the number of times I was going through loops in the Python code in order to separate all the ratings. I pulled the data on February 28th, 2021. Overall, I ended up with ratings for a total of 8,524 pictures representing 785 species that I assigned to 62 categories. The categories I created were mostly based on taxonomic families. However, I did split the very large families with a lot of pictures. For example, the cichlids were split into African cichlids, New World cichlids, discus, and angels. The cyprinids were split into goldfish and koi, minnows, and barbs. Some of the smaller but similar families that were poorly represented were also grouped together. For example, all catfish were classified as either a Corydoras catfish or as other catfish. Any family that would have had less than 5 pictures was simply classified together as other. Ratings were also labeled by water type. My data has ratings for 6,984 freshwater pictures representing 535 species that I assigned to 34 categories. There are ratings for 1,540 saltwater pictures representing 250 saltwater species that I assigned to 28 categories. My first chart is a tree map that displays the number of pictures in each category. Categories that contain images in their boxes have at least 100 pictures that had been submitted and rated as of February 28, 2021. It's pretty easy to see that cichlids dominate the website in number of pictures submitted. The category with the most number of pictures is African cichlids with 2,025 pictures. It's followed by the New World cichlids with 1,468 pictures. In fact, if we were to add up all of the cichlids, the African cichlids, the New World cichlids, the discus with 401 pictures, and the angels with 321 pictures, they would comprise almost half of all pictures uploaded to the website. Other freshwater categories with over 100 pictures submitted are the gouramis and betas with 460 pictures, Plecostomus with 345 pictures, the live bears with 170 pictures, the minnows with 157 pictures, the loaches with 151 pictures, the characins with 122 pictures, the barbs with 101 pictures, goldfish and koi with 275 pictures, tetras with 179 pictures, and then other catfish with 171 pictures. I'm going to briefly highlight the categories with fewer than 100 pictures so that you can also see them. So we had the Corydoras catfish, the puffers, the rainbow fish, the algae eaters, the other category, arowanas, bikers, eels, knifefish, sunfish, danios, gars, scats, gobies, butterfly fish, killifish, archerfish, hatchets, snakeheads, and suckers. For saltwater fish, the categories with the most pictures are the tangs with 291 pictures, the clownfish with 254 pictures, and angelfish with 113 pictures. Again, I'll briefly highlight the categories with fewer than 100 pictures. So we have the lionfish, the dragonettes, the damselfish, gobies, triggerfish, puffers, eels, wrasse, sharks or rays, firefish, rabbitfish, butterfly fish, the other category, pipefish, seahorses, and sea dragons, the blennies, cardinal fish, hawkfish, the dottybacks or pseudochromis, the anthias, the groupers, the longhorns, the basslets, the jawfish, and the idols. Overall, it is clear to see that there are many more freshwater fish pictures submitted than saltwater fish. One possible reason for this could be that more people keep freshwater tanks than saltwater tanks. If I were to expand on this project, that would be one question I would be interested in exploring further. Although people submit more freshwater fish pictures, they rate saltwater fish pictures higher on average. As you can see, the average rating for freshwater fish is 4.3257, while the average rating for saltwater fish is 4.9865. The difference in the average ratings is statistically significant. I performed a Wilcoxon rank-sum test comparing ratings as a function of water type and got a p-value of 2.2 times 10 to the power of negative 16. Therefore, it is incredibly unlikely that the difference in means is just due to chance. People are rating pictures of saltwater fish higher than they rate pictures of freshwater fish. Looking at the lowest and highest rated pictures for both freshwater and saltwater, we can see that there is a bigger difference between the minimum values of the different water types as compared to the maximum values. The highest rated pictures for both freshwater and saltwater had very similar ratings, 8.43 as compared to 8.47. However, there's a much bigger difference in the lowest rated pictures, 0.92 as compared to 2.06. A box plot of ratings by water type reveals that the interquartile range is actually very similar between the two water types. The majority of the data for both water types are within an interquartile range of approximately 1.4 to 1.5. But overall, freshwater fish have lower ratings than saltwater fish. The box plot also reveals that the data for freshwater fish is a little skewed to the right. So the mean for freshwater is actually being pulled a little bit higher than where the true middle of the data is. Because saltwater fish are typically rated higher than freshwater, we'll look at the saltwater categories first. Here we can see that overall, lionfish get higher ratings with an average rating of 5.389. Followed by the dragonettes with an average rating of 5.345, the idols with an average rating of 5.218, and then the tangs with an average rating of 5.210. As we move down the list towards the bottom, we see that the bottom is the damselfish and chromis, who receive an average rating of 4.037. Looking at the freshwater fish, we can see that the discus reigns superior with an average rating of 4.972, followed by the arowanas with an average rating of 4.891, the archerfish with an average rating of 4.784, and the African cichlids with an average rating of 4.581. Again, as we move towards the bottom, we can see at the bottom that we have the barbs who receive an average rating of 3.559. I did not run any statistical tests looking at rating as a function of categories. If I were to expand on this project, that is one thing I would be interested in looking at. Finally, I would like to thank the many talented people who offered their amazing photographs for use under Creative Commons licenses or entirely dedicated their artwork to the public domain. And I thank you for watching this presentation.